Get ready, Elliot. Here it comes. And we're live. Go for it.
Welcome, Nerds fans, to the latest S&M production of the Sunday Night Sports Nerd Show. It is the most absurd 90 minutes of anything goes, smack talk, and a whole lot more. Every Sunday night, the Sports Nerd joins forces with his maniac co-hosts, whom are a select group of sports nerds with attitude, better known in Nerd Nation as the Rat Pack. These are four of the most foul-mouthed, shit-talking nerds, spitting some sick rips and rants, just enough to make you piss your pants. So listen up, Nerd Nation. Rise and welcome the legend himself. He is the founder, he is the host, and he is the star of the Sports Nerd Show. Coming to you live, straight out of Lakeland, Florida, Scott, the Sports Nerd Wright.
What's going on, fellas? Happy Sunday night. And we are back again for another lovely 90 minutes of shit talk, smack talk, and just all good old sports fun. Joining us from the road this week is Mr. John J. Olsen as he heads back to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Excuse me.
Keep your damn eyes on the road.
I haven't stopped. I'm just like glued. Bro, I've already seen two moose, man. So I gotta keep my eyes open, man. I'm nowhere. I am in the middle of nowhere.
He's going to be here for a little bit. He's going to jump off and come back on when he's at a hotel. He's going to be spending a night in a hotel. You might have better reception, and he can use his new MacBook to broadcast. So he'll
have better Wi-Fi.
Better Wi-Fi. I'm just saying the MacBook has been splendid. I've been editing on it and everything on the trip. It's just great. Okay, thanks.
The kids are going to be happy to see you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't wait, dude.
Well, he's going to be happy to see the kids too. I think he'll be more happy than the kids will be, but that's okay.
Yeah, kids don't care, man. They're like, Daddy.
Right.
That's it.
You'd be surprised, yo. You'd be surprised.
Well, John, I got to commend you though, brother, because you're making the wife happy, and that's all, and that's what's important.
Well, that's self-preservation, dude.
That's exactly it. That is self-preservation. That is called peace of mind. That's what that's called.
I'm telling you, man.
Is Eliana watching? Is she on Facebook?
She's not there yet. No, I gotta post it. Hang on, I gotta post a link in there.
If you do see her, tell her that I sent her condolences for Portugal's loss today.
I already did today in the sports chat and in Discord.
My favorite team that I've been a diehard fan of for the grand total of 2 weeks.
Right.
Okay. The beautiful country of Belgium.
Yes.
I've adopted them. They don't know that yet.
They make great waffles.
They make great waffles. Dude, they're a lot of fun to watch, man.
Did you see the guy with the Belgian fries hat on?
No, I didn't watch the game today, dude. I was kind of
that was a great game.
Oh, look at that. My wife's calling. Perfect time. Oh well, she can wait. Hold on, baby. I'm coming.
Too funny.
I'm on the road.
On the road again.
On the road again.
You should have gave her a tracking app so she knows where you're at. She doesn't trip.
He's got the leg bracelet on.
I use an app called Life 360. It lets my people know where I'm at all times.
Yeah, your video's going in and out, John, but we can still hear you.
No, I know because I'm just texting her.
The video goes out when you have to do something else.
Yeah.
I get that with Aaron all the time.
So anyway, guys,
There.
how was your week, Elliot?
My week, mixed.
Mixed.
Very mixed. Very mixed.
Very mixed, especially Friday night, right?
No, actually, it was Thursday when I ran out of weed.
Oh, I was talking about the game on Friday, but that's okay. You can talk about that too.
Oh, what game on Friday?
Oh, the game 7.
Oh, that game. Yeah.
That game, yes.
Hey, dude, I'm just saying, I drove through all of Quebec and even Montreal this morning. I saw 0 Habs flags in Montreal, the city.
Really?
everywhere,
Hero?
like outside in Quebec, there was guys rocking the flag. Not really. I mean, you're in Quebec City, no one likes the Habs, right? But I was blown away. I thought I'd go in and there'd be flags everywhere and like it'd be nothing. Then again, I did, drive through at 6 a.m. but I mean, there was nothing, no flags, no nothing.
Yeah, you'd think after almost 30 years not being in the final, they'd be celebrating a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
I suspect there will be.
Man, I hope they do because I don't know why Tampa even should have a team, but I really hope. I hope Montreal. I drove through Ottawa too, and I gave the middle finger to the Canadian Tire Arena, the Corel Center or whatever, wherever the Senators play, whatever it's called.
Wherever the Nordiques used to play.
No,
the
Senators.
The Senators.
Ottawa, not Quebec City.
But I just wanted to say one thing, because I'd had a pretty shitty week with weed and sports and all that good shit. But you guys are aware of what a preemptive strike is?
Yeah, go ahead, Elliot. What's your preemptive strike?
Because I mean, I know I'm going to get some kind of backlash for the Yankees and the Islanders and the Knights, all that good stuff. So I'll just provide you guys with one forward answer on all of them. Okay.
What's that? What was the forward answer?
Hang on, it's coming.
I'm gonna shut my video off because I'm still
there.
Bro, I agree, man. I wanted the Islanders in it, man. Like that would have been so sweet. Islanders and Canadians in the final. Oh my gosh, couldn't write that. But now we got to deal with these jackholes from Tampa Bay.
So anybody got shit to say about my teams? Just refer to the background.
Nah, man. Go Islanders. I'm here for it.
I have a policy. I do not pile on. So.
Well, that's good. That's good, Ken. You know why? Because I don't do it either.
I'm going to assume it's me against the panel as far as
you know what? I only pile on to Scott because it's easy to fluster him that way. He's too easy a target, dude. He takes his fandom too seriously.
You can make him jump offside pretty easy.
I mean, to the point where he has to drink in order to be able to cope during a game. So, that just
take too much of a hard count, does it?
Yeah, I stopped being that kind of a fan years ago, man. Yeah. When those checks I was expecting in the mail never showed up.
Yeah, right.
For all my dedication and devotion.
Yeah. Right. Well, I was sweating the last 5 minutes of that game because the Islanders, they finally pulled the goal. I was like, okay, this is it right here. Let's do this. It's beat back the surge.
Look, Tampa knows they were in a fucking series except for Game 5. Game 5 was a fucking fluke. Okay.
8-0. Yes.
Yeah, that was that was an anomaly. All right. Yeah. But every game in that series, Tampa they had their work cut out for them. And the Islanders pushed them. Biggest problem for the Islanders, lack of offense, especially on the power play, 1 out of 17 in the series. They didn't have a big star in there. They had a lot of good players, Barzal and them guys.
Yeah.
But I think if they would have had Lee, and is his name Andy Lee or something like that? And
yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they would have had him, it could have made a difference in the series because he's kind of like their Kucherov.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And when Kucherov went down, well, Tampa was in a little bit of trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
No. And
that was a cross check. It needed to be penalized, but we won't go there.
But you know what? I'm proud of the Islanders. Like I said, they ain't been around in forever, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But they're just a couple steps away from.
Yeah, they were in the Eastern Conference Final last year against the Bolts and lost as well.
And it only went 6.
Yeah, it only went 6. So
this time it went 7, and they lost on a freaking shorthanded goal.
How about that? Yep.
I think that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit, Mr. Hatman.
It just goes to show you how underhanded. It just goes to show you how underhanded the Tampa Bay Lightning are.
Well, you guys
next year we're gonna play best of 9.
No, it's cool. I mean, we lost. I was more disappointed with the Knights than anything else. But then again, they have no offense either.
Yeah.
Mark Stone didn't score a freaking point in that series. and he's one of their studs. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I still don't agree with all the in and out of the goalies either.
Back and forth as far
You
as
know what?
switching.
Look at the teams that are in there now in the final.
Mhm.
You got one goalie and one goalie only. And unless he's on a stretcher carried off the ice, the backup goalie's not coming in.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
When they
Bro,
changed,
do you know what would happen to anybody who pulled Carey Price? They would be killed,
they would be fired and
fired, and burnt at the
drawn
stake.
and quartered in the public square. You know, Varlamov is playing fine. I mean, yeah, he got juiced in game 5, but I mean, it didn't seem like anybody was stop. They couldn't stop a fucking cold in game 5.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I couldn't believe
look,
that.
when they scored at 45 seconds, I said it's over already. I stopped watching. Then they got up 3-0, and I totally turned off anything because I said it's just going to be one of those games.
Yeah.
You know.
There's Katie. How you doing, Katie? Good to see you. Katie's in the house.
So as far as the Islanders go, right on. You guys did well.
Now
Right.
you're saying go Habs, right?
Huh?
Now you're saying go Habs.
I'll announce my choice at the end. When Ron's on the show and when we get towards the end, when everybody makes their pick, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
I haven't
All right, guys,
decided
I'm
yet.
gonna sign off. I'll catch you back when I get hooked up here. So,
All right. Drive safe, John. We'll see you in a little bit.
We'll see you in a few.
all right, guys.
All right. So
Okay.
moving on. Let's start with the NFL because we always start with the NFL. Even though it's the offseason, there's still some news out there. Tom Brady was quoted on a talk show that's going to air on HBO that he was quoted by a certain team. He did not reveal the team.
Of course not.
But he did say after they decided not to sign him, he goes, "You're sticking with that motherfucking guy?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, leave it to Tom Brady. It's, you see Katie's saying, Kenny, it's baseball season. Yeah,
It is.
she's already put the Mrs. Doubtfire meme out there of the sweep. So she's all hyped up about about the sweep.
Hey, Katie.
Yeah, refer to Elliot's background to Katie is what he's saying.
This will be my default answer for anything and everything my detrimenters have to say.
But there are.
I saw Brady this week. I don't know if you guys caught the debut of Capital One College Bowl. It was hosted by Peyton and Cooper Manning.
How did that just come up?
Because I just clicked my record button.
Yeah.
I forgot to start the recording, so we're gonna have a delay in to start the recording. But that's all
Oh man, John's gonna let you have it for that.
right. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. That's all right. Go ahead.
The first game they had matchup was Alabama against Auburn, and they had Joe Namath come on to root for Alabama, of course, and Charles Barkley for Auburn. Second game was Michigan and Minnesota, and they had Tom Brady, of course, come on for root on Michigan. Then they had Tony Dungy come on and root on for Minnesota, and but it was pretty funny because Dungy had to get a jab in on Peyton Manning, and so it was pretty funny. But Brady was pulling on Michigan. So
Hey, you guys see my kid's pic of his first day at work?
Yes, I saw your kid's first day of work. Where's he working at?
He's working at Culver's.
Oh, so it's a burger joint. Okay, good.
Well, they're more than a burger joint.
I've never been to Culver, so I don't.
Yeah, they're kind of like high-end burger.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
They have
Like
frozen
Red
custard, and they got a pretty extensive menu too.
Is it kind of like Red Robin?
Kind of like, sort of, yeah. Kind of like. Their
Red
drive-through
Robin.
business is ridiculous. Okay,
Yeah.
their drive-through business is off the chain.
Is he enjoying it so far?
Oh yeah, he worked his first 2 days. He's working the fires right now, and the first night he burnt his thumb. And then the next night, I guess the guy that was working next to him deep frying chicken and shit, got a little too overzealous and splattered some grease on his arm. And I told him,
war wounds, man. That's part of the process.
And I told him, I said, look, all you got to do just to cover your own ass is let a manager know, so that way if something comes of the injury, they will be on the hook for it. Okay. And also to let the other guy know that if you can't handle your job, get the fuck out.
Yep.
If you're here to hurt other people, you don't need to be here.
Yep. Ken, after 4 sudden death holes, it's still tied.
Still tied?
It's still tied. Yes. They're still tied. But yeah, that was a good pick. Like Katie said, it's a good picture of Mariano. I'm glad he's enjoying the work.
Yeah, he's got a somewhat busy schedule this week. 12 to 8, Tuesday through Thursday.
That's not a bad
the rest
schedule.
of the week is open. Huh?
That's not a bad schedule, really.
No. He's just gonna work as much as he can until he starts his cybersecurity boot camp.
Okay.
And then once he does that, he's got this one place where you don't have to pay anything up front. And then you don't pay anything to them until after you have a job that's paying you at least $40,000 a year.
Nice.
Oh.
And at that point, you start paying $163 a month for 24 months.
Shit.
Wow.
At 40 grand a year, that's nothing.
But this is it. This is the thing. One of the people he spoke to, and I was on that Zoom call, she's like, look, entry-level cybersecurity people right now,
yeah, they're
making just below $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's entry level.
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, Mariano, you get entry level, dude. And I'm telling you right now, man.
You can retire, Elliot.
I don't need retirement. I just need a nice fat loan that I don't have to pay back without any interest. Just call that 18 years of restitution.
There you go. There you go. So the rumor mill has been out there as far as what team he was talking about regarding Brady. One of which was the Raiders. Okay.
I just can't see Tom Brady in a fucking black and silver.
No.
It just doesn't work for him. People hate him, but he's not really a villain, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to be in a Raiders uniform, you have to have that tinge of villainous to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they've always been known as, how should I say, the
Outlaws.
Yeah, the Outlaws of the NFL.
That's it.
So
they are the Outlaws.
So he's saying the Raiders. Who else has a shitty?
The Bears.
The rest of the league. The
Bears, the Rams, and the Niners.
The Niners.
I can imagine him saying that about.
I don't think. You know what? I don't think the Niners were ever really interested in getting Tom Brady.
He would have loved to play for the Niners.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'll tell you.
It's the final clue of that is that that Team X was being the Bears or the Raiders, basically, because they haven't made the playoffs, or they have not been a history of making the playoffs recently.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Bears did something to address their situation. I can't say the same for the Raiders.
No.
So I would, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was the Raiders.
I mean, it's just a matter of deduction as far as that is concerned. As far as what
but here's my question:
probably the Bears, because he's probably talking about Trubisky.
Well, as of this time last year when he was signed, yeah, I would say.
It's possible it could be the Bears. You know what I'm saying? Besides, how would he get along with John Gruden?
Oh, he and John Gruden would not get along at all.
No, at all, dude.
That would probably be bad news from the start.
He'd get along better with Nagy in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Chicago might have got the steal of the draft, okay, in Justin Fields. And time shall tell, but they say he's looking ridiculously good in camp.
Oh, yeah, he is. He is.
That job will be his by week 3 or week 4.
Yeah, Andy Dalton won't be long for the Bears. Won't be long in the starting position once the season starts. Because if they, once he starts doing Andy Dalton things, they're going to go.
He's all in on that. Justin Fields said, "I'm all in on the decision for Dalton to start." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's not going to push anything unless the team decides it's time. You know what I'm saying? So he's playing. How should I say? He's playing his role as team player right off the bat. Correct. And a leader, because the leaders are the kind of people that do stuff like that.
Yep. Next up, Steelers released their longtime offensive lineman DeCastro.
You know what's the biggest shock?
What's
nobody signed him yet.
Well, he's also contemplating retirement. He says if this ends up being my swan song, so be it. I'm comfortable with that. Okay. He's got injury issues with his ankle, which is why he was released in the first place. Mm-hmm. And the Steelers immediately went out and re-signed a new offensive tackle, so they got his replacement in free agency or whatever it was.
Yeah, the Jets signed a big offensive tackle this week.
They did, yes. It was where is it? Come on now, where is it?
I saw it and I can't remember.
I mean, the Jets ain't probably going to do a whole lot, but I tell you what, they're going to be a lot more competitive than they have been.
Yeah, I think the Jets will be competitive. I really do. I mean, they made enough moves, and the CEO of the company that I work for is a big Jets fan, and he's been very pleased with what they've done in the offseason. They signed Morgan Moses to a 1-year deal, Ken. That's who that was.
Although I hear Sam Darnold is tearing it up in Carolina.
Well, Sam Darnold's going to be better in Carolina because he's got a better coaching staff over him to, get it going. Well, not that Robert Saleh would not have helped him.
But it's the obscurity that's going to help him out.
Yes, being out of New York is going to help him. Exactly.
Being out of New York, I don't think he can handle that press.
Right.
That's what concerns me about their pick this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That New York press is relentless, dude.
Yeah, Jets signed Morgan Moses from he played last year with Washington, so he goes in, he gets signed by the Jets.
Just take a move, yo.
Yeah. But this I mean, again, this DeCastro release comes as a shock to a lot of people because he was one of the cornerstones of their offensive line last year. But because of his injury issues, that's why he was released. Again, the Steelers signed a new. I don't know who they signed in place of him, but they signed a new offensive lineman in place of it.
They're going to have practically an entire brand new offensive line this year.
Yeah, because they had Marquise Pouncey, their center, is retired. Yep. So I mean, they got a lot of holes to fill.
They've already lost.
If the Steelers go 8-8 this year, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, me too. I think they finished third in division behind the Browns and the Raiders and the Ravens. I mean, so I mean, and the Ravens and Browns, you can flip flop them 1 or 2 as far as the division is concerned.
Yep.
It's going to be a track, a marathon to the end for the Browns and the Ravens as to who wins that division. I think. Bringing back some old school, the NFL has approved alternate helmets beginning next season.
Yay.
Elliot.
What the fuck kind of helmet is Cleveland going to come up with? Is it that one I posted the other day with the Cleveland helmet inside the helmet?
Yeah, I know. We really haven't changed our helmets in over 60 years that much. So
well, you're the only guys without a fucking logo on your helmet. At least the Steelers have half a logo.
No, the Browns fans always say we don't need no stinking logo. We got the.
They should have put a dog on that motherfucker.
Yeah, well.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Kick fall back.
Honor the dog pound. That's what they should have done. Put a dog on the fucking helmet.
But this opens up the possibility of the creamsicles coming back in Tampa. The old school Patriots logo as far as those uniforms are concerned.
I like the 3-dimensional when the 49ers had the 3-dimensional numbers and stuff on their jersey.
That'd be in the 90s. Yeah, I remember that. Yes. That's the year they won the 194 Super Bowl with those uniforms.
I used to have a Steve Young jersey like that.
Yeah.
I wish the Steelers would bring back the Batman uniform.
Leave the Bumblebee uniforms out of it.
Yes, yeah, we don't want the Bumblebee.
Yeah. Those things are nasty.
They're terrible.
Ridiculous.
They look like a
66,
cast.
67 Steelers.
They look like a cast of characters from the movie Life.
Yes.
Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
Yep.
They look like Skip from Saturday Night Live, the Killer Bees.
But yeah, I mean it's good for the NFL because they've been coming down hard on that. They wouldn't allow the alternate because you couldn't have your alternate uniforms because you have to change your helmet with it. Now they're bringing that back again, and that's a good thing. So I applaud the NFL for doing.
I'm
that.
afraid to see what some of these helmets are gonna fucking look like.
Well, you got old school Seahawks uniforms from the 70s and the 80s. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dallas can bring back their original season uniforms with the white helmet and the blue star as opposed to what they have now. That uniform they like to wear every Thanksgiving.
So what is that? Their good guys helmet, the white.
Yeah.
Because the silver one is a villain.
Well,
They're thought of as a villain in that silver helmet.
that's also the year they went 0-14 or 0-12 or whatever it was, Ken.
Oh, okay. Well, wear them all.
Tom Landry's first season as head coach.
Their first season.
His stepping stone to the Hall of Fame.
Yes. But I think it's a good move by the NFL because you know what, the uniforms you always like to look. You always into nostalgia with the NFL, in my opinion, because you go back and it brings you back to those days of yesteryear when some uniforms are really good. I mean, even the Bills can come back with some really good uniforms from back in the day too.
I'm not sure how I'm going to react to the Titans wearing an old Houston Oilers uniform. I tell you what,
the Oilers uniforms were really good back then.
They were really nice.
Texans don't have an alternate, do they?
No.
They haven't been around long enough.
No, and it's not the same franchise, so they can't use those uniforms. And
That
Titans hold the trademark to those uniforms, and then only they can use them. So, but you also look at even old school Atlanta Falcons with the red hat, with the red helmet, and the black falcon on it.
Yeah.
I always like the Jets helmet, white one with the football on it. That's the Jets.
Yep, that was good too.
Always, that's the Joe Namath helmet as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, and then the old school Giants with the Giants on the side. I mean, they have NY on them now.
Yep.
Which goes back to the 50s as far as the Giants are concerned.
Yeah.
But those teams in the 80s where they had Giants on the side of the helmet.
The LT uniforms.
That's the LT era, correct.
Yep.
So, the NFL is going to have a bid system for the combine as far as cities.
What the hell is that?
Meaning they're going to have cities bid for the combine, not just.
Okay. I thought
have it in Indianapolis.
I thought they were going to bid on players. I'm like, what the?
No, they're going to
cattle.
They're going to have cities. They're going to have cities bid on the NFL combine. You know me, guys. I'm not a big fan of the combine. I don't think it tells you diddly squat about a player. But it'll bring money into these cities that bid on it, and it'll impact their economy. It's a good thing.
With your luck, it'll be in Tampa the first time out.
Well, and also to be honest, Ken, Jerry Jones built Jerry World just for the with the combine in mind.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
Yeah, he built Jerry World with the combine in mind. So hoping to bring it to Dallas.
3 miles from my house.
Yes.
Why?
But I'm with you. Is there really that much interest in the combine? I mean, it's a circus.
Yeah,
I've seen some guys.
Circus.
I've seen some guys come out with major grades out of a combine and then flop. Get to the fucking
flop. And
combine doesn't tell you shit. It doesn't tell you if they can take a hit or not. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't tell you if they can take a hit. It doesn't tell you what their endurance is throughout an entire game. It doesn't tell you nothing.
The only good thing about the combine is the interviews, and the interviews tell you about the person that you're going to be drafting.
It just shows you who's far and who could jump the highest. Basically, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Wanderlick test, and that's about it.
I think the Westminster Kennel Club shows that kind of.
That's what it is. Westminster Kennel Club.
I think that's their format, right? Speed and.
Pretty much. That was the other day.
And finally,
that much interest.
Finally, with the NFL, Carl Nassib came out this week as the first openly active gay player in the NFL.
Nassib?
Nassib, yes.
Bravo.
Bravo to him.
Yes, bravo to him.
Now, to be honest, he's not the first gay player to ever play in the NFL.
No.
Okay. But he is the first to come out gay as an active player. And what has impressed me the most is the support he has gotten, not just from the players around the NFL and other sports, but the NFL itself has come out in support of his decision.
He already has the number one selling.
And he immediately had the number one selling jersey of all NFL players after he made that announcement.
Well, so did Tim Tebow, but I understand the sentiment behind it. I get that. But number one jerseys are usually based on emotion. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, there's no discounting that. Of course.
And I'm not gonna, how should I say, belittle somebody to say, oh, they got the best selling jerseys. Look, he made the best decision for himself in his life. Fuck a jersey.
Correct.
Okay. Jersey don't mean shit.
He's not going to lose a bit of respect from any of his peers.
Oh,
coaches.
they're giving him support on the other hand.
Absolutely.
They're 100% behind him. And I applaud them for that.
And I applied Nassib, excuse me. Nassib for doing what he did. Because 10 years ago, this would never happen. Not at all.
You almost did.
Yeah.
The Rams.
Who's he playing for now? The Raiders?
Yes.
Do you think they're going to wear pride colors? No.
I don't know.
The Rams drafted one that was gay, but I don't.
Oh, you remember Michael Sam, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. But they said he didn't make the team, so. But I
because his big thing was coming out. It had nothing to do with who he was as a talent.
But the fact that we're having to have this discussion from the beginning, and I pretty much agree with what Carl said, that he's living for the day where it's not news,
right?
And nobody cares. It doesn't matter. So hey, I totally agree with that. But I applaud him and wish him all the best and more power to you. Love is love.
Yep. We're gonna skip over the NHL for now. That's second on our list. We're gonna skip.
I don't know why you always put that second.
Well, I don't know either.
At the bottom, dude.
But at the bottom. All right, I'll do that moving forward until the final is over.
I think it's only gonna be one more week. Right?
I think so too. 2 more weeks, because next week we'll be talking about in progress final, and then the week after we'll have a champion.
Yeah.
NBA. Suns are up 3-1 after a big win last night. In LA, or it was in LA.
What, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Did you guys watch the game?
No.
Okay. That had to be the worst combined effort of offensive basketball.
I did hear about that this morning in highlights, though. Yes.
They combined for 29 fucking points in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Their 3-point shooting, I think they were, what was Atlanta? I'm sorry. What was Clippers? 5 for 36?
Like 18%.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was pathetic. Everything was going in and out. The biggest, he's a big star, Paul George. Don't get me wrong. But he has choked at the free throw line at the end of 2 games that could have gone differently had he not. You know,
he couldn't put into a hula hoop right now.
Suns are in, dude. It's over. It's over.
Well, they go back to Phoenix now for Game 5, and I think
over.
I think they finish it in
Game 5. You know how
5.
bananas that fucking Phoenix crowd is going to be?
Oh, I know.
They ain't seen shit like that since Charles Barkley and Dan Marley and them guys.
Right?
Remember?
I remember those games. Yes.
Yep. And if it wasn't for Michael Jordan and the Bulls, they might have won a championship.
They might have.
As would have Utah.
And remember the Celtics, they would have won in 76.
Just telling you,
man. They are so starved for a championship in that city, and
of any kind.
Of any kind.
It's big. The Diamondbacks won it a while ago, but that's
right. That was in 2000. That was in 2001.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago. So
that's the only championship they've ever won.
And you know what? They have only been to the playoffs once since then.
Yeah, and then of course the Cardinals didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but got beat by the Steelers.
They got beat by the Steelers. They got robbed by the Steelers.
Yeah, they got robbed by the refs.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his name only had one toe down.
I don't think
Yeah.
he had both feet beat down either.
The other one was pressed up against his other foot.
I think so. Yeah,
That shit don't count.
I'm in agreement with you. I don't think that touchdown was a touchdown. No.
No.
Nope.
And they still call it one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history. Bullshit. Both feet weren't down.
They weren't down. No. And the thing that killed the Cardinals was that 100-yard interception return at the end of the first.
James Harrison.
Yeah.
That was it. That turned the whole game around because if Arizona goes in and scores there, the Steelers are on
the ropes.
And there was one or two clips on that play?
Yeah, there was. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Get it.
It still burns me to this day that they won that.
Phoenix is going to be fired up for the NBA Finals, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think they will
Whether
too.
ESPN is or not, who cares? But I'd love to see a Phoenix-Milwaukee series.
I want to see a Suns-Hawks series. I'm sorry. I want to go the other way. I mean,
I'm sorry. I don't like Trae Young. He looks like the Gerber baby, and he needs to shut the fuck up already.
I actually saw Trae Young play in college, so he's the real deal. But
oh no, he is the real deal. But
I'm still hoping for.
There's guys on that team that I really don't like Danilo Gallinari. I don't like his ass at all.
How about that last play in game 1 or 2? In game 1, it was. That lob and the dunk with 0.9 seconds left. Was that amazing or what?
Which one? The one with Phoenix?
Yeah, no, it was that Phoenix or was that Houston? Was that Atlanta?
When he threw the alley-oop from out of bounds.
Yeah, okay, that was. I'm sorry, that was Phoenix. That
was DeAndre Ayton.
Thank you.
University of Arizona Wildcat graduate.
Oh, here comes his Arizona roots out now. Look out.
And Phoenix just happened to have the #1 pick that season when he was coming out, so he stayed home. You know what I'm saying?
Ron's going to come up early. Looks like he's here.
Yeah, he told me to buzz him in early. It was funny because he says, just go ahead and let me in and I'll be quiet until it's my turn to talk.
Ron Gallo, how you doing, buddy?
Ron Gallo.
Hey, doing good.
That's my background, dude.
Yeah. Where you at, in Florida?
Oh my God, I think so. It's so bloody hot out here. How the hell do you guys do it down there?
Yeah, well, add about 87 to 95% humidity to that, and you'll get a feeling of how we deal with it in Florida in the summertime.
I couldn't believe how hot it was looking in British Columbia. That's unreal.
It's we're talking just over 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
And your buildings do not have central air conditioning.
Oh God, no! No, I am sticky.
Hey, Ron, I want to give you a little history behind my background here.
Who the fuck are?
No,
fuck cares.
Fuck cares.
Oh,
that's a preemptive strike to all my detractors because my teams just outright sucked this week. So whoever has anything to say about my team, there's the response.
Hey, if you're putting New York Islanders in that bucket of grapes, no.
Who the fuck cares? Hey, who the fuck cares is that Tampa one? That's basically
Okay.
There you go.
I'm proud of the Islanders. I'm proud of the Islanders. Okay? I'm proud of the Islanders.
You know what? I feel
stop it, bandwagon.
I'm not a bandwagon. I've been a fan.
You were with fucking Tampa this year, were you? Were you not?
No, he's cheered for Tampa for 3 years.
No, you were with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
No, I was not.
Yeah, you were.
I was not. No,
you were totally against them until they went to the fucking Super Bowl.
No, I was not. No.
Yes, you were.
No.
You know what? I could play back all the fucking shows that we did.
You don't have a recording of it. I do.
But that's fucking come down on Brady and come down on the Bucks and say fuck them and this and that, and then you go out and buy their fucking Super Bowl hat.
Well, I bought the Super Bowl hat. Yes, of course.
Come on, man. Get real.
Hey, I got a quick question for you guys. I need to know if you can see this. Can you see something other than me?
Yes, we see. Yeah, it's a Tour de France, and that is on our rundown tonight.
That's actually on our rundown for the last.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about the Tour de France because of what happened yesterday.
Okay, so I have the video. I'm going to play the video.
Okay.
But that's later. I just wanted to make sure that it's going to work.
Yeah, it'll work when you play it. We'll talk
Right.
hockey, and then we'll get into the Tour de France at the end. So,
Well, we got to
All
finish the baseball talk.
but we got to finish the baseball talk because
and,
there's a lot of
and
baseball talk.
We still got to talk about the Bucks and Hawks.
Yeah, the Bucks
my
Hawks series is tied
my
1-1.
My note through to you guys must not have made it there. I said I was going to slip in and be quiet and wait.
Yeah, I just told them that.
Yeah, right. That's what Elliot said. You're gonna.
I just told him that. I said you were going to be quiet.
If you want to bring in some extra content, because John's on the road, moving from Newfoundland, excuse me,
back to Edmonton.
Back to Edmonton. He's on the road currently. He's going to get into a hotel and join us when he gets into the hotel and gets his Wi-Fi set up. He was on us at the beginning on the road through his phone, but he wanted to get out until he gets to a better Wi-Fi location. He can get better internet connection. So
yeah, and I wasn't really comfortable him driving and being on a video.
no, I wasn't either. To him driving because there's too many elk he could.
That distraction bullshit. That distraction stuff can cost lives. You know what I mean?
If he was driving through Saskatchewan at the time, it would have been okay. Just put it.
He's in Ontario. He's in Ontario.
I know. Just put it on cruise control, and the roads they're straight as an arrow.
Yeah, he's in Ontario right now, heading home. So, okay.
As far as the Bucks and Hawks, look, if the Bucks do to the Hawks what they did in Game 2, this series is over.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Game 3 is more important for the Hawks than it is for the.
I think so too. The bounce back game for the Hawks.
For the Bucks.
Yeah.
Because they got blasted in Game 2.
Yes, they
got
did.
ripped apart.
Yeah.
Horn. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On to the baseball.
It depends. It depends on which Milwaukee Bucks shows up because they've been.
It depends on which Giannis shows up.
Yes, that's true too.
Because the aggressive Giannis, you can't stop that dude.
Mm-mm.
Nope. All right, moving on to baseball. Ken's favorite subject.
Yes.
Hector Santiago was ejected today as the first player ejected over the substance rule.
I think it's bullshit. I think they need to just back the fuck off. Okay. I really love the pitcher that pulled his fucking pants down while they were fucking. I mean, to me, that's a statement, a correct statement. It's like, look, why don't you just crawl up my ass while you're at it?
Right.
Okay. This little check and I mean, it's a joke. And the commissioner of baseball should be fired, should be released of his duties because this is a bunch of bullshit. Okay. You're going to start patting down and checking pitchers that have no fucking intent to cheat whatsoever.
Yep. Well, there was a knuckleballer that got checked the other night. You see that? A
knuckleballer, dude. It doesn't. They're checking everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, they'll fucking check Mother Teresa at this point. Okay? They're not playing around, but you know what? It's stupid.
Yeah.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? If you catch somebody doing something wrong, that's one thing. But if you're deliberately going out there seeking people to railroad, basically, that's bullshit. To me, that's kind of communist, if you ask me.
Well,
yeah. And I think Joe Girardi needs to just back the fuck off. Just, I'm sick of what he's doing with Scherzer. It's ridiculous. And
what's he doing, Scherzer?
Scherzer.
Yeah,
he's the one that had umpires.
Oh, he had him check him
3 times the other day.
Well, I'd have him check him too. He's got 2 different color eyes. That's just kind of scary. But yeah, I think it's uncalled for. I think it's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary.
If you bust somebody, like when they busted Negro with the freaking emery board in his back pocket and shit, like that's one thing.
Right.
But when you're persecuting people because it's at the orders of the higher ups, it's time for the higher ups to go.
Yep.
I want to know what substance they found on this guy today.
Well, according to Hector Santiago, there's been a article release. The veteran claims he only used rosin on what was a humid day. That he put rosin on his glove.
But rosin is a part of the game, ain't it?
Correct. Yeah.
Rosin is, and look, if rosin wasn't allowed, then why the fuck did they put it on the field?
He said, all I used was rosin. I use it on both sides, trying to keep that sweat from dripping down to the hands. That's
it's
what
not like it's stick 'em or anything, okay?
Correct.
Rosin is like powder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a rosin bag on the mound, for Christ's sake.
That's what I just said. Why would they want to fucking go after people for using rosin if you got a fucking bag sitting on the mound?
That's
the
right.
entire fucking game. And the pitchers are using it. So isn't that illegal? If they're putting it on their hand?
No, it's not. That's to say, if it's rosin, it's not illegal.
What's there for?
I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's a cluster. Okay. The whole situation is a cluster.
It is a clusterfuck. It's a total clusterfuck.
Yep. And that just comes from the top.
They were patting Scherzer down the other day. I told a friend of mine's actually a baseball coach. I said, can you say spooge ball?
This is going to put a serious legacy hit on the commissioner, Manfred.
His legacy is already sealed.
It's dirt now.
Yeah, Rob Manfred's not going to be considered one of the greatest commissioners.
Dog shit deserves better accolades.
Yeah. Yeah. Good news out of the MLB is that Trey Mancini will compete in the home run derby.
Is that because he was a cancer?
Because he was a colon cancer survivor. He was out the entire 2020 season. Now he's being invited to the home run derby. That is a good, feel good, awesome story.
Awesome. It'll be a great story if he wins it.
Even better. Yes. Mm-hmm. Diamondbacks,
I'm actually see how Ohtani does in the home run derby.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised he entered that. But
is he going to pitch to himself?
Like Charlie Brown.
I mean, he does everything else.
He does.
Oh God. And the Diamondbacks finally break their road losing streak. It was a 25 or 26 games. 26 games. And they finally broke out of it. And where is it?
I love Torey Lovullo, but I'm afraid he's not long for this managing world.
Well, no, after that huge losing streak, no, I don't think so either.
They're not going to keep him around, I don't think.
Right. And then they lost again today to the Padres, so go figure.
Well, they're starting a new losing streak.
Jacob deGrom went from 0.50 ERA to 0.65 today.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
He is for the season, that is.
Dude, send him to the minors. He needs
that's ridiculous.
That guy can pitch.
He gave up like 3 runs in 6 innings or something like that today, and he did a very, very
pedestrian,
non-DeGrom type game today.
A pedestrian performance.
Pedestrian. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much, Elliot. My vocabularyist, Mr. Elliot Biggie Lamba. Thank you very much, sir.
I got you covered, man.
He's given up less than 10 earned runs all season long, man.
Correct.
I mean, I didn't tell you the text or the message that I sent Ron to appear on the show tonight. Here, let me pull it up. I'll read it.
Wait, what was the message you told me?
I'm gonna pull it up and read it to you.
Okay.
I wanted to entice Ron to show up. So let's see. Here we go, Ron. Okay, so do we get the honor of witnessing your exuberance over a well-earned trip to the Stanley Cup final? Exuberance. Okay. Word of the day. Exuberance.
Before we get to the predictions, have you seen the All-Star jerseys, guys? Have you seen these?
I've seen the hats. I've seen the hats.
I'm not sure I've seen the.
I mean, let me see if I can find a picture of the All-Star jerseys.
I actually like the hat.
The hats are fairly cool, yeah.
You got the big old All-Star game logo on the side.
Yep, got a star in the middle of the front,
and then the logo's inside the star.
Yeah, right.
Where is it?
They're selling them at several places around here too.
Yeah, I just saw them. Actually, as a matter of fact, Fanatics I think has them on sale.
Right now. Fanatics, fans, lids.
Yeah, all of them.
I'm gonna post this into the Facebook chat. You guys can, if you can get to it.
Okay.
Maybe not. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. Much better. There it is. That's a link to what they look like.
Okay.
You can see, if you're in Facebook, you can see it.
I'm not.
You're not? I'm going to post it to the Zoom chat then, Ken. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Where'd you put it at on Facebook?
in the Facebook in our chat in Facebook. If you don't get it in Facebook, get it. You can get the link in the Zoom chat. That is a picture of the National League jerseys.
I
Oh, they
see
also-
us, but I don't see a place for me to comment or.
There's no link.
Yeah, I got the tweet link, Twitter link.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send it to me in Messenger or whatever.
All right. Hang on, Elliot.
I can't find it. So.
Hang on.
And I'm not going to spend
Hey.
the last
They
40
they
minutes.
stayed up all night thinking these up, didn't they?
Yeah, they're not good. I just sent it to you in Facebook.
Oh, and it's in Colorado?
yeah, it's in Colorado. They moved it from Atlanta to Colorado.
That's why it's too cold up there. People brain freeze. Yeah.
I got one
Yeah.
word for that. Nike.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Nike.
That's got Nike
Nike's the one that
signature
came
all
out-
over it.
Yeah, Nike's the one that came out with those crazy ass colored uniforms,
Yeah.
all one color, and
Why I don't like Nike.
yeah, they try to take shit to the next level, but sometimes they're a bit
Yeah,
off.
they're just plain out, flat out, god awful.
Yes.
Well, I won't buy a jersey, but that hat is cool.
Hat I don't have a problem with. Jerseys, no thanks.
Look at Ron looking all scholarly.
I know, right? That was before he had all the gray hair. All his hair was gray. So.
Professor Ron Gallo.
Josh Naylor, who's that?
Josh Naylor is the right fielder for the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, that's
He
why
suffered a Dak.
That's why he's
Pres-
on the rundown.
Well, and he suffered a Dak Prescott type injury
Yeah.
today against the Twins, and it was pretty freaking gruesome. Don't look for the video because you don't want to watch it.
I love that stuff, dude.
But that's a heavy blow to the Indians.
I'm
as
still
far as
watching the
I'm
Theismann video all these years later.
concerned.
I can sum that up with the line from Cool Hand Luke. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Yes, you are correct. There was a miscommunication between the second baseman and the right fielder on that. It was a
Somebody
freak
called
accident.
somebody else off.
Yeah, it was a freak accident. They bumped and he twisted in the midair, came down awkwardly on his
Yeah.
right ankle.
It's
And
like
It's
stuck in the field.
and
man.
it was a severe fracture. They had to cart him off the
I'm
field.
already getting ready to throw up just by the
Um,
description.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to find the video, Elliot, find it on your own.
I'm good, man.
I will
I got
not-
enough stomach problems going on. I don't need a fucking
Yeah,
gruesome
it
video.
was a pretty gruesome injury.
If you have to be carted off on an air cast, that tells you all you need to know.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. Not that we care about the All-Star game, but we're looking at what your predictions are as far as leaders in the clubhouse at the All-Star break. As far as divisions or as far as American League, National League, whatever you want to choose.
Well, obviously in the East, in the American League East, it's down to Tampa and Boston as far as
Right.
who leads that division come the All-Star break.
Right.
Buffalo. Buffalo and the Yankees, the Buffalo Blue Jays. They're just too inconsistent right now, and I just don't see that they need to have a better they need to have breakout a better performance after the All-Star break because they just look pathetic right now.
Right.
In the Central, what do you got? Cleveland,
Chicago and Cleveland are leading the way.
Chicago's going to
White
go in.
Sox are looking pretty strong.
I think Chicago White Sox are going to lead that one. And in the West, Houston, what are they on, an 11-game winning streak?
Yeah,
12 games?
Houston
Yeah.
led like 10 All-Stars this year.
Yeah.
They just a phenomenal amount of players now. Are they still cheating? Who knows? It's Houston. You just don't know.
I'm rooting for Oakland. I want Oakland to win that division.
Well, Oakland's playing really good too, but
They
right
are.
now they're trailing Houston by 2 games in the West.
In
They
the
were
National
up
League,
2-0 on San Francisco earlier today.
believe
San
it or not,
Francisco got the best friggin' baseball.
in the National League, the Mets are relevant.
Yeah, the
They
Mets
are
are
rolling.
playing great.
Well, that's because Lindor's finally pulled his head out of his ass,
Oh,
and
freaking
he's
time.
starting to play a little bit better than he did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, about damn time, Lindor.
No, but you know what? The Mets got some pitching. They got some hitting. Conforto is a stud.
Yeah.
Look, they've done, and with their new owner who came in with a no expenses too much to make this team a contender.
Right.
That's the first time in years that the Mets have had that kind of an owner.
That's right.
Okay.
They're taking the Yankee philosophy.
Yeah. And the Yankees have taken the Met philosophy. They kind of traded places.
Traded place. Freaky Friday.
Something.
New York
Because,
Mets.
look, the Yankees have probably the second worst offense in baseball right now. And their average with runners in scoring position is almost little league stat. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like being below the Mendoza line as a hitter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just don't hit with runners in scoring position. They're too inconsistent. The studs are not fucking doing anything except
including Aaron Judge.
Well, he's done. Look, if it wasn't for Aaron Judge, we'd probably be down there with Baltimore right now.
Okay.
But you get to inconsistencies, and these guys are like, you look at Stanton, Yankees. I don't know if that was the greatest move in the world because, look, he's already been in the league how many years? He's starting to break down. You can see his injuries are coming more often.
He's starting to break down a little bit.
Exactly. He ain't that stud he was in Miami.
I'll be honest with you. That strikeout that Judge took yesterday at the end of the game, that was the most un-Aaron Judge at bat I think I've ever seen, because in the past he would have never swung at that. He swung at ball 4, and
you know what that is? That's the desperation of trying to make up for the inadequacies of the rest of your lineup.
Well,
he's trying to do too much to make up for the lack of offense that the rest of the team is showing. And sometimes you wind up swinging at shit you shouldn't.
Are you still blaming this on Aaron F. Boone?
Yeah, actually I am. I think Boone and Cashman need to go. Maybe we're not right this second, but by the end of the season, if not after the season is over. Cashman's been around too fucking long.
Cashman's got more lives than a cat.
Yeah,
I'm thinking he's got to go. As a matter of fact, what they really need to do is sell the team back to CBS.
It's been a while since CBS had it, but they did.
They're not going to spare they're not going to spare expense, okay, in order to put a good team on the field. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And Aaron Boone, I'm sorry, but what experience as a manager did he come in with to manage one of the storied franchises in baseball?
None.
His history was a extra inning home run against the Boston Red Sox back in 2003. That was it. That's his claim to fame as a Yankee. And that's why he got the freaking job.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can tell he's not manager material.
Yep. All right, in the Central, we got the Brewers and the Cubs. The Cubbies are 2.5 games behind the Brewers. Do you think the Cubs can get?
Yeah, Milwaukee's like the mecca of sports right now, dude.
Yeah,
Milwaukee's looking good. Milwaukee's looking good, but the Cubs, there's something magic.
Are they for real, Ken? You think?
I guess they are. I'm not about to tell them they can.
The Cubs are looking good, but the biggest shock right now in all of baseball is the San Francisco Giants.
San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
That team is ridiculous.
They got a 4-game lead on that division right now and Dodgers are in second place.
Yeah. And the Padres are fading fast.
Yeah, the Padres are 4.5 games out, but
at the beginning of the season, who would have even predicted that San Francisco would be this good?
They were, I think, third behind the Dodgers and the Padres.
Yeah.
For the season.
And now they're bordering on the best record in baseball?
Yes.
Right?
Giants have the best record in baseball.
Yeah, they do. They've got 50 wins. Yeah, they're the first to
30
wins.
About 30 points.
I had a feeling they might. All right. Well, it's hockey. Oh, hockey time. Hockey talk time.
It's hockey.
Hockey.
Hockey. NHL.
All right, it's time.
Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning for making the Stanley Cup final. Look out, Montreal. Here we come.
Here you go.
7th game, 1-0. Come on.
I got one thing to say.
Tell you what, Ron, that is Vasilevsky.
A 1-0 win with a shorthanded fucking.
Vasilevsky's 5th game, deciding game shutout in the playoffs.
Yeah, series clinching game, won in a shutout 5 times now.
Yes.
consecutive times for Andre Vasilevsky. The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, that's
has
what
been there
happens.
before.
That's what happens when you go up against teams that have sketchy offense.
Oh God.
The Eastern Conference winners, the Tampa Bay Lightning, no surprise. I don't think you're going to find anybody that would think that that's a surprise that the Tampa Bay Lightning are off to the Stanley Cup Finals to defend their championship from last year and look to repeat again. There isn't very many teams that repeat, but the Tampa Bay Lightning definitely have that opportunity to be able to do such a thing. Little bit scary in game number 6 when the goaltender that I was complaining about last Sunday for the games 3 and 4 in Montreal ended up officiating the game in New York. And that was
the referee.
Yeah, the referee was Chris Lee, and right in front of Chris Lee, Kucherov gets a nasty cross check, and he ended up missing the rest of the game. Played 46 seconds in game number 6. The Tampa Bay Lightning had built up a 2-0 lead at the time. It felt like that was insurmountable. It felt like the Tampa Bay Lightning were going to win in game 6. It didn't happen.
And that's the only game where the team that scored first didn't win.
That's correct. That's a huge in the game of hockey. That first goal and even that first game, if you will, in a best of 7 are very, very important. No matter what, I mean, I never look at the first game myself, but I mean, when you go up 1-0, now you are in control of the series and the other team is left to scramble to try and get back home ice advantage, especially if the team that won is the team that's on home ice. So tomorrow night's game is game number 1 between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens have been defying all of the odds makers and continue to roll along. They have some phenomenal stats that Tampa Bay is obviously going to be paying close attention to see if they can end those streaks.
How's their power play? How's their power play?
One is their penalty kill. The Montreal Canadiens have been shorthanded 30 times since the last time that they gave up a power play goal in game 4 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lost that game, but since then they've gone 13 games. They have a record of 11-2 in those 13 games, but they have not given up a single power play goal against in 30 opportunities. 30 opportunities.
That's going to be crucial because Tampa has the best power play in the NHL right now.
You know what though? I mean, you got to look at Vegas Golden Knights. They had a great power play as well. Not only did they not get a power play goal, their entire forwards were outscored 4-2 by Cole Caulfield alone. Cole Caulfield doesn't play his rookie year for the Montreal Canadiens in the NHL until next season. He's not even considered a rookie this year. He is considered to be on loan. He is playing lights out. Cole Caulfield has been a difference maker for the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, dressing room a little bit later, because there's one word that summarizes or sums up the Montreal Canadiens and one word that sums up the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we'll get into those a little bit later. But right now, I just want to talk about a couple of things because, of course, now all eyes are on 2 teams. So you are going to get a lot of coverage. You're going to get a lot of analysis. You're going to look at a lot of different things. And the predictions, it starts with predictions. NHL.com did an impromptu survey of their writers and editors. 10-5. So out of 15 writers and editors for NHL.com, 10 of them have chosen the Tampa Bay Lightning to win in 6 or 7 games. Only 5 chose the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal doesn't care. They've been fighting those odds ever since round number 1.
Come on, 54 points going into the.
And that's the other thing. Let's look at that. Let's look at the regular season. Okay, for the regular season, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they ended up coming in. They were 3rd in their division with 75 points. They defeated the Florida Panthers, who had 79 points. Then they defeated the Carolina Hurricanes, who had 80 points. So they had to defeat both of the teams, the 2 teams that were above them. Montreal did the same thing, but that's not where I'm going with this. Then they had to play the New York Islanders, which now was a completely different team. So the Tampa Bay Lightning have got to have a ton of respect for that team because they have played a team like the Florida Panthers, who have the goal scoring abilities. They had to play the team like the Carolina Hurricanes, who are completely one of those anomalies that are just riding the energy level of their coach, Rod Brindamore. They defy all expectations and all odds, and they get the Carolina's been doing it in the regular season.
Kind of like Columbus 2 years ago, right?
Exactly like Columbus 2 years ago. Then they had to deal with the New York Islanders, and the New York Islanders is this squad of beer league players. Let's call it, it's not lunch bucket brigade stuff. This is rock'em sock'em hockey at its finest from the years back that we remember. The New York Islanders don't have one key player. They don't even really have a key goaltender. And no disrespect to the goaltending in the New York Islanders, their strongest player was their sixth man. Now, I'm talking the fans. The New York Islanders, the building was insane. It was raucous.
Even after they threw bottles at the rink after the game?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, where I'm going with this is that they've had to play different teams all along the way. I think a Montreal New York Islanders matchup would have been extremely boring because those two teams are very similar. But now the fear is that Tampa Bay has figured out the New York Islanders, which means have they figured out the Montreal Canadiens?
Well, they haven't played them. They haven't played the Canadiens all year, just like they didn't.
No, they didn't play the Islanders either.
But they've played against that style of hockey and they've won. That's where I'm going with this. So with the Montreal Canadiens, they had to take on arguably the top two teams in the league.
Toronto
and Winnipeg. One of the top teams in the league. And then, of course,
and Vegas.
And then Vegas. And Vegas, don't forget, Vegas ended up just missing out on the President's Trophy by tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the thing is that the Montreal Canadiens, and this, Scott, I'm not sure if this is going to play out, but if you think back to game number 5 of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Montreal Canadiens series, that game was played in Las Vegas, and the Montreal Canadiens took the fans completely out of that game. We had been talking just the week before, we had been talking about how Vegas and the New York Islanders and a couple of other teams have really loud, strong, boisterous, cheerleading fans. The Montreal Canadiens quieted that group. That Vegas arena, I've never heard it that quiet, except when there was no fans allowed to be in that building.
Well, and you know why that is because honestly, Vegas, they showed a lack of offense in the Montreal series, and I give Montreal credit for putting it to them. You know what I'm saying? But when I saw that Mark Stone didn't score a point in the entire series, and their front line was just like totally inadequate, Vegas needs some help. They really do.
Mark Stone said it in the post-game interview. He said that he was skunked. He said that the team has to be better offensively if we're going to get past that second round and make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. And remember, this is 2 years in a row. They lost to the Dallas Stars in the conference finals last year as well. So the Vegas Golden Knights.
Elliott was going to make that point.
Yeah. So the Vegas Golden Knights are feeling the sting of losing to the Montreal Canadiens. The team that still feels the biggest sting, of course, is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Every time the Montreal Canadiens win, it's like another dagger into the hearts of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Right.
Because every time Montreal takes it one step farther, everybody's remembering, wow, Toronto had Montreal on the ropes and just needed a goal in overtime to win this. So anyways, it's going to be extremely interesting, but I wanted to get back to the predictions. So it's no surprise that the Tampa Bay Lightning are expected to win this one. The Montreal Canadiens, there's a few more believers. There's a few more people that are saying the Montreal Canadiens are going to win. But this is where it's interesting. When you start thinking about the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, this is the most valuable player in the postseason. When it comes to the Tampa Bay Lightning, the jury is out. Braden Point, Andre Vasilevsky, Nikita Kucherov. Those are three of the main names that come out of the Tampa Bay Lightning as potential winners of the Conn Smythe Trophy.
In these playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, in these playoffs. Montreal, without a doubt, only one name.
Carey Price.
Every time. Every time. In fact, if the Montreal Canadiens do not win, he could become only the sixth player to ever win the Conn Smythe Trophy when losing the Stanley Cup Finals. There have been 5 players that have done it in the past, and this goes all the way back to 1966. But guess what position 4 of those 5 players played?
Was it goalie?
A goalie. So Roger Cozier in 1966 was a Conn Smythe Trophy winner. He was with the Detroit Red Wings when they lost to the Montreal Canadiens at 4-2. So they lost in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. 2 years later, Glenn Hall, a goaltender with the St. Louis Blues, they ended up also losing to the Montreal Canadiens in 4 straight, but Glenn Hall still won the Conn Smythe Trophy. It was 1976 that a defenseman, not a defenseman, but Reggie Leach with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Right wing, Reggie Leach.
Right wing, yes, Reggie Leach. So 1976, and guess who they lost to? The Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup that year as well.
Real quick, and they're still playing golf at the Travelers, by the way. 8 playoff holes.
There, okay. 1987, another goaltender wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. This was the Ron Hextall of the Philadelphia Flyers after the Flyers lost to Wayne Gretzky-led Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
And the most recent one, another goaltender in 2003 was J.S. Jaguar. Yeah, and he was with the Anaheim Ducks at the time. And then I think it was a year later. It was a few years later. They ended up winning the Stanley Cup in 2007. Right. But those are the 5 players that have won the Conn Smythe Trophy when their team has lost the Stanley Cup Finals. So if there is a 6-1, if Montreal Canadiens goaltender Carey Price could very well become the 6th one if Tampa Bay ends up winning.
And with that, I'm going to make my pick for who's going to win the series. There you go.
Okay. Elliot's on page with Montreal. How about you, Ken?
Scott, you need to close your ears.
This one happened to be because they kicked your ass last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Olsen has returned.
I'm going to go into a little bit of detail.
Hey, John.
I do believe it will be the Montreal Canadiens in 6 games, 4-2.
That's what I said.
I think it could be Toronto winning the first 2 at home. Tampa Bay winning the first 2 at home, and then Montreal sweeping the next 4. And I do have Carey Price as Conn Smythe winner.
Wow.
Tampa Bay.
Disrespect. Oh my God.
I say a split.
You're gonna notice that this is not the Dallas Stars you're playing this year.
No, it's not. You know what, Ken?
It's a team that's magic.
To piggyback on what you're saying about that is the Canadiens are a much better and complete team than the Stars were last year. I can actually see this series going 6 or 7 games. I am nervous.
I think
better be.
I am nervous.
I think they split the home and home in the first 4 games, and then Montreal wins the next 2, like they did with Vegas.
Yeah, that's what happened with Vegas. John, it's good to see that you're in a hotel, not driving.
I'm in Hearst, Ontario.
Nice.
And they got nice hotel rooms in Hearst.
What's that?
Is it like the middle of nowhere?
Pretty close.
Okay.
I thought that was Newfoundland. That was
How
in the
many
middle of
Montreal
nowhere.
Canadian flags did you pass along the way?
None.
What?
I went through Montreal this morning, didn't see one flag in the entire city.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
that's their extreme social distancing techniques.
Bro, I couldn't. You know what I saw? I saw people with leaf flags though hanging around in Northern Ontario. There was leaf flags everywhere.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that crazy?
So who's
I
your
think
pick
people
for the
just in
Stanley
shock.
Cup Finals?
Oh, Montreal. Montreal.
How many games?
Montreal in 6.
That's
Who's
what
Conn Smythe?
That's what Ken said.
Price.
There you
Okay.
go.
So everybody
guy.
here is on
That
board.
guy.
I like what Elliot has said. I believe that there's going to be a split. I do believe that Montreal can win this one in 6 games. That's the heart speaking. The head, and I'm still going to do like I did with every series so far. I'm going to tell you that the head says the other team. The head says Tampa Bay Lightning, but the heart says Montreal Canadiens for real reasons. But that's the reason why we play the game on a sheet of ice rather than a sheet of paper.
Right.
Conn Smythe Trophy winner, win or lose, is Carey Price. Win or lose is Carey Price. I do believe in the split in Tampa Bay with Montreal taking game number 1 tomorrow night. I do think that the whole playoffs are going to start catching up with Montreal. I do think that they're going to falter a little bit. I just hope that they can recover. And I do see them winning in 6, like I said, with my heart. However,
Harris English won, by the way, Ken. He just won on the 8th playoff hole.
English did.
Yeah.
there is one thing that is starting to really worry me about the Montreal Canadiens. There has been a new reported COVID-19
Oh shit.
case.
Oh,
And this
no.
time it's with Joel Armia.
Right. I did see
Joel
that.
Armia has scored 2 shorthanded goals. While the Montreal Canadiens have been on that phenomenal penalty kill. He has, as Shea Weber describes it, he has a big body with a long reach, and he is able to kill off time on the clock with possession of the puck in the offensive zone, or preventing the penalty or the power play from entering the Montreal Canadiens zone. So Joel Armia could be a bit of a factor for the Montreal Canadiens. Interestingly enough, Jake Evans, who sustained a concussion after Mark Scheifele hit him in game number 1 against the Winnipeg Jets, skated today with Eric Stahl and Corey Perry on line number 4, and may be a game time decision. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. Joel Armia not traveling with the Montreal Canadiens today, is not in Tampa Bay, and is sidelined. And if it is deemed to be positive, we're talking 2 weeks. He's not going to see any action in the final series.
Oh, wow.
Dominic Ducharme, who's the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens, has been out on the COVID protocol since
Right.
June the 18th and could be back behind the bench of the Montreal Canadiens for game number 3 on July 2nd.
I did see that too.
Okay, so there's that. Now, again, Joel Armia, by the way, this is the 2nd time that he's been missing games due to COVID protocol. He missed some as well just before the end of the regular season. He came back to play, I think it was the last regular season game against the Calgary Flames. Just very Kotkaniemi was also on that list as well. So again, this is why I'm a little bit worried. We've seen it with the head coach. Okay, head coach, that's a little bit, there's a little bit more time and space between the head coach and the players. But now we're talking about a player that is in the thick of things. And if anybody else gets a COVID-19 positive test, all of a sudden the damn playoffs could come to an end and nobody gets the Stanley Cup, or they award it to Tampa Bay simply because of Montreal not able to finish out the series.
Didn't
Oh,
that
hey.
happen in-
I'd hate to see it end like that.
Didn't
I
that
would
happen in
hate to
col-
see it end like that.
Didn't that happen in college baseball?
It happened
Yes.
to NC State. NC
NC
State
State.
got disqualified
NC State.
because of COVID protocols. And
They advanced the
In
other
the
teams.
Commonwealth
The advan-
NCAA
yeah.
tournament,
yeah,
basketball
they advanced the
tournament.
other team. Yes.
That would be a sorry way to win a freaking title.
It would be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. It will be interesting to see. I mean, Scott, give me your take on game number 7. Did Kucherov look like Kucherov?
No, he didn't. But I go back to game 6. Do you think that was a cross check that the referees missed?
100%.
Okay.
Without question.
I mean, it looked like
Hey, look. Let's get real. These entire playoffs, the referees have missed just about everything.
Yeah, they have. Now, I
Okay.
want to say that Kucherov ended up with either bruised or broken ribs off that play.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, he came back in game 7, but he was not himself. He was not as aggressive, and he wasn't as much of a presence as he normally was.
He wasn't as aggressive, and a couple of other things. He didn't have the movements that he normally has for two
Correct.
reasons. Number one, he can't do that side-to-side lateral movement with the ribs, but he is also wearing a flak jacket to protect his ribs.
Right.
Did you
So he
notice
had
that? Did you notice that when there was like a timeout or a dead play or whatever, he wasn't near that. He was skating around the ice,
Yeah.
like trying to keep himself loose, and
Yes.
you can see it in his face that something was bothering him.
Yeah. And he said in his press conference either yesterday or today, that he doesn't, because the reporter asked him about the injury. He says, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have an injury. I don't know what you're talking about." And that's a hockey player. That's a
what
hockey
you're gonna
player.
expect. Nobody's gonna admit to
No.
to having anything.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, Kucherov is. I mean, you think about it, guys. He did not play the entire season. He had a hip surgery in the offseason, didn't play the entire regular season, and did not come back into the playoffs, and has been a force in the playoffs in ever since. So
And that's that star player that every team love.
Kucherov is the gears
Look,
that drive
if-
that team.
If
Yes,
the Islanders had a Kucherov, Tampa Bay wouldn't be in the finals.
correct.
I'll tell you that
Correct.
right now.
Stamkos has come back after injury. He's in the playoffs. He has not. I mean, he's had a couple of great games, but he doesn't have the presence that Kucherov has when he's 100% healthy. He does not have that presence. I mean, the other guys' point has been great. Gord had a shorthanded goal the other night on Game 7. That was determined the winner. And of course, I mean, Hedman is also a leader on that team. But Kucherov is the man. Don't as far as the offense is concerned. Kucherov is the man on that team. Vasilevsky is one of the best goalies, if not the best goalie in the NHL right now. But that's
You see the guy holding the flag behind me?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
My bias is showing.
You better
Sorry.
stop that nonsense with your
My
hallucinations.
bias is showing. I apologize. But Kucherov, if he's not playing well, this team doesn't play well either. So that's just my opinion.
Which is why he doesn't want to give the Canadians any locker room
fodder.
Yeah, because if he even gave a hint, a whiff that he's not feeling 100%, Montreal will be going after his ass.
Yeah.
Even though they're going to probably do that anyway. They're going to
Montreal's
test those
not
ribs
stupid.
on him. Trust me.
Montreal's not stupid, but then again, don't forget Montreal's got their players that all are suffering with injuries as well. I mean, Corey Prairie has 4 fractured fingers on one hand after his
Who
hand.
doesn't have injury? Yeah, but Ron, who doesn't have injuries at this time of the season? Who doesn't?
100%. The only one that has no injuries right now is Carey Price. That's knocking on wood.
I got that.
Okay.
I'll
So-
stand by what I said the other day, or posted the other day. Last time the Montreal Canadiens lost to a U.S.-based team is the same year that Marty McFly went back to Back to the Future.
But again, that particular stat is skewed.
I
Yes.
don't like that.
They
stat.
haven't
That
made
stat
it.
means
They hadn't
nothing.
make it there in
It's magic.
28 years.
They
How
are
many-
magic.
How many
They
U.S. based teams made it since 1955, which is 20, by the way? Okay, that didn't get the chance to break that streak.
What are you talking about?
Well,
I
if you
think that
don't,
the only time was when the Calgary Flames and the Montreal Canadiens played in the
Yes.
Stanley Cup Finals. Other than that, an
That's
American-based team
the
has
only
been there
Stanley Cup
every
final
year.
they've
I mean,
lost.
that's almost every year. Exactly. Yeah.
It was 89, right?
Yeah.
89.
Yeah,
3
89.
years after they met in '86. Yeah.
I'm just
So-
saying, if you take 55, that's what, 66 years?
56 years.
Okay, and 28 of those you weren't in the finals? That takes a little luster off of that streak.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I don't care for that stat. Like I
Me
mean,
either.
It's just not. It's just numbers. It's just numbers. It makes zero sense.
Just saying.
I mean,
The-
28 years ago, when was the last time, okay, that
The
the
Canadians.
Canadians made it to the playoffs?
Right.
Okay. That's a whole lifetime. 28 years?
No,
You
for
can't-
me, the bigger number is to look at, and this is what I was going to say. Remember, I told you there's one word that describes the Tampa Bay Lightning and another word that describes the Montreal Canadiens. The word for the Tampa Bay Lightning is experience. They've got heaps of experience. They're the defending champions. Like almost everybody in that dressing room has a Stanley Cup ring from last year.
Right. And then three out of the last 4 seasons, they were in the final. So, yes.
Exactly. So they
that
experience is
sweet
the
by
word of the
Columbus.
day for the Tampa Bay
Shut
Lightning.
up, Elliot.
The word of the day for the Montreal Canadiens is desire.
We don't want to talk about that, huh?
No.
Desire. Okay. You look and you listen to those young players. I've talked a lot about Cole Caulfield because he doesn't even play his rookie season until next year. But there he is, and he's sitting with Phil Deneau eating pizza post game, and he says it bluntly. He says, "This isn't about me. This is about everybody in that dressing room. This is about Shea Weber, who's had 15 years of experience and never got a whiff. This is about Carey Price playing in his 14th year in the NHL and never getting a whiff of the Stanley Cup. The Montreal Canadiens goaltender right now has won World Junior Gold, World Cup of Hockey Gold, Olympic Gold. He's been All-Star candidate numerous times. He's won everything. He's won the Vezina. He's won the Jennings Trophy. He's won
Ron.
everything except what matters the most. And any NHL player wants to win the Stanley Cup, and Carey Price hasn't done it in 14 seasons.
Ron, this is a
Go ahead.
team that went in with 54 points to the playoffs.
100%.
And basically, that was a record that wasn't even playoff worthy, to be honest with you. Okay. But the thing is that there's this one word that always floats around in my mind, especially when somebody's doing something they're not supposed to do. And that's destiny.
And a lot of people are
I
saying
think
that.
destiny is on the side of Montreal.
Quite possibly.
Agree. I want a Canadian team to win. Like, just let us have one in, like 30 years. Can we have just one every 30 years?
The last time a Canadian team made it to the Stanley Cup Finals was the Vancouver Canucks in 2011.
Right.
And we all saw what happened when they lost.
Yeah.
Well,
The city burned.
they did the exact same thing the Toronto Maple Leafs did this year. They had a 3-1 series lead on the Boston Bruins and shit the bed.
They did.
Anyways, yeah.
Remember.
So the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, it's not about an individual. Okay, Raymond Bourque was the last individual that I can think of that went to a team to win a Stanley Cup. Raymond Bourque went to the Colorado Avalanche after being a lifelong Boston Bruins player. In fact, I believe Raymond Bourque still lives in Boston.
Yes.
But he's got his Stanley Cup ring thanks to the Colorado Avalanche.
Colorado Avalanche.
You look at Corey Perry, and Corey Perry was happy to be what's called on the taxi squad. He is happy to be playing on the fourth line. He is happy to be out there to get the ice time that he gets because he has an opportunity to play with this team that has a lot more depth. He doesn't have to be the Corey Perry from a few years ago. You look at Eric Stahl, it's the same thing. Tyler Toffoli, and I got to correct myself because last week I think I said that he won the Stanley Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks. He won it with the Los Angeles Kings. But it was Tyler Toffoli that said, I won the Stanley Cup in my first year in the NHL. I thought this was something that just happens. And he's only been around for about 7 seasons. But he now knows how difficult it is to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, and he has a cup. He has a Stanley Cup ring. So where I'm going, I like the word destiny, but it's the desire. It's the desire to lay it all out there. Shea Weber again. Shea Weber is the captain of the Montreal Canadiens, traded for PK Subban from the Nashville Predators. And without a doubt, Montreal Canadiens have won that trade. I'm a big PK Subban fan, but you know what? He was just a bit of a showman. He was, he was a good defenseman, but he was more show. And that's not what this team is about. When you look at Montreal, nobody is saying, look at me. Everybody's saying, look at us. And I think that's going to carry that team a long way.
I honestly think that their playoffs opponents might have been a little bit guilty of overlooking them.
Yeah, and you know what, Ron? That desire is what scares me the most about the Canadiens going up against, as far as the Lightning is concerned, because I know this is not going to be an easy series.
Dude, like the Toronto series, the writing was on the wall as soon as they lost that game. I knew Montreal was going to win, but the Winnipeg series just getting smoked. Like no one called that, and then no one called the Vegas win.
No,
like
absolutely
it was
not.
3 series in a row. They were supposed to just get demolished.
They did what they weren't supposed to do.
Yeah. It's impressive, man. Listen, I'm no fan of the Habs, but I'm a fan of their fan base, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
John, I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch Sportsnet last night, but they played all 5 games from the 1993 Stanley Cup Finals with the Los Angeles Kings. LA won game number 1. Montreal won game 2, 3, and 4, all in overtime before winning it in game number 5 back in Montreal.
it's crazy. That was just such a fun year for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
That
game?
was the Kerry Fraser year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Terry Gregson as well.
Yeah.
What game was that the curved stick came into play?
That was game 5.
Game 5? That was ridiculous. That's the only time I've ever seen that called in any game.
Yeah. No, that was fun. So anyways, I'm looking at the clock and it says that we hit time.
Yeah, I wanted to go over Tour de France before you left, because I know it's a big thing, and a big thing happened yesterday.
Let's do some Tour de France talk.
Go ahead and share your video, Ron.
Okay, so here is the video, and I want you guys just to take a little bit of time just to kind of watch this.
Focus on the left side of the screen.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Damn.
Okay, now keep watching though. Keep watching. Sorry, I'm just making this full screen. You should be able to see it better now.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're going to get a sense of what actually happened here. But look at these bodies. Look at the number of bodies and bikes all over the place. And this was completely avoidable. You can see what happens at the top of the screen.
The guy in the yellow jersey.
Yeah, now watch the next highlight. And you'll see it perfectly clear. This is stage 1 of the Tour de France. 45 kilometers to the finish. Here it is. Look.
Yeah, this was the angle right here.
Right here.
There.
What an idiot.
That person's not even looking at the riders coming at them.
That's a chain reaction right there.
And those bodies and those bikes, there are people that went to the Tour de France who have trained for this all year long, and they're done on day 1. Done.
Yeah. That was
Just
absolutely
crazy.
ridiculous.
Well, I understand they're trying to find this guy, number 1.
One bad apple.
They're trying to find this guy. Let me show you something here real quickly. They're trying to find this guy. I want to show you guys something else real quickly.
Is he on Canada's Most Wanted?
Still rolling. Watch this. Okay, so I'm just going to move the video up here. Okay. I want you to. Oh, I just went past it. Sorry. I'll do it again. Okay, so when you're looking, you're going to see one of the bikes, and this is this devastation on the road. But as the camera pans away, I want you to look into the crowd, and you're going to see that fan. And the question that I have is, how is he still standing on the side of the road?
No kidding.
Okay, so here's the bike, all busted up. That's $15,000 lying right there, you guys.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
mean they
yeah,
don't buy
sure.
the
Hey,
$200
now watch,
Walmart one?
Is there insurance on bikes?
Who do you see right there? See in the ditch?
Yeah.
That's the fan. I can't believe that fan is still sitting there that many minutes after that casualty, and nobody has pulled him out of the crowd and detained him.
Have
That's
they
crazy.
have they freeze framed the signs? What it said?
Yeah, it says "Go Grandma and Grandpa." It
Really?
doesn't even like. They were just looking for some notoriety to be
Yes.
on camera.
They got it.
15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's
It
disgusting.
really is. So, anyways, Vanderpool ends up winning stage number 2 today. He's wearing the yellow jersey. The yellow jersey is worn by the person who's considered to be leading the entire race. There are other jerseys that are out there. There's a green jersey for the sprinter. There's a KOM jersey for the climbers. There's a white jersey for the young riders. It's all too early to really decide who's got these jerseys so far. Alaphilippe is second right now in general classifications. He's 8 seconds back of Vanderpool. Julian Alaphilippe is a good climber, so when they do start getting into the climbing stages, you'll have to watch out for him. But anyways, yeah, the Tour de France is very, very interesting if you're a cyclist. If you're not a cyclist, the things that engage you are unfortunately what we just saw, the casualties of that crash. And it's
Drew my attention.
Yeah, literally.
It's going to get your attention. Yeah. There is a handful of riders that can't continue now in the Tour de France because of that crash.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll be frank. There was one rider that kind of soured my interest in the Tour de France, and
Lance Armstrong.
it was Lance Armstrong. And
Yeah.
I've tried to kind of build it back up since then, but yeah, I saw the wreck yesterday, or saw the video you posted, and it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Ken,
Totally.
I missed who was the rider that soured your take?
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, the thing is, when it comes to that one, I don't want to get into it too much, but what makes it worse is that he's not really owning up to his involvement. No. He's trying to diffuse it. He's trying to say some of it was pain.
How Trumpian of him.
He's trying to say everybody did it, and he's the one that gets caught. Well,
as I said,
everybody speeds.
That's very Trumpian of him.
Right.
No.
And everybody here drives, everybody speeds. John, I know you were over the speed limit a couple of times today.
Listen, one can only go 90. Okay.
For so long.
Once in a while.
For so long. Okay. Like I had to go 110. Okay.
Hey,
that's not 90 miles an hour. That's 90 kilometers an hour.
Kilometers.
I speed in my driveway.
So, I hate it when somebody says everybody was doing it. Well, you know what? Someone jumps off the bridge. Are you going to jump off the bridge too? No, you got to take the high road.
Doesn't make it right.
That is the worst. That is the worst statement ever. Everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, and the fact that he's
from that make it right though.
General vicinity made it even worse for me.
So, anyway, gentlemen, we will have 3 games played by this time next Sunday. So hopefully,
will the 4th game be on Sunday?
One series. Unless Montreal's leading 3 games to none. But hopefully it's only a 2-1 series by this time next Sunday. But it'll be interesting to see how some of this stuff plays out because, as I mentioned, game number 3 is in Montreal. This is so bizarre. Hey, John, remember rounds 1 and rounds 2, games 3 and games 4 were played on back-to-back nights? Now we get 2 nights off in between game 3 and game 4. I don't know why they didn't give 2 games off between games 2 and games 3.
Because of the travel, right?
Well, yeah. So you're traveling from Tampa Bay to Montreal.
Plus the COVID protocols that has to go ahead and be in place as far as going from the States to Canada as well. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
So why not give the extra day in between game 2 and game 3? I mean,
I don't know.
it's so bizarre. It's so
You'll have to-
bizarre.
That's
You know,
Mr.
game
Bettman
four-
about that.
So game
Who
4
runs
won't
that
be
league?
until Monday.
Who runs that
Game 4
league?
is Monday.
Who runs that league? Gary Bettman?
Yeah.
Gary Bettman.
He is the
And
Rob.
Chris
He is the Rob Manfred of freaking hockey.
So
Gary
I used,
Bettman and Chris Lee run that league.
dude, I used to hate Bettman. Now it's just like that. He's made teams work in Tampa. I mean, I got to tip my hat to him, man.
Yeah.
Regardless, I know he's a douche canoe up here in Canada, but I mean, some of the projects he's busted his butt on.
You know what? The Tampa fans have been phenomenal down here. That arena, as I've mentioned countless times on this show, is
Yeah.
full.
Let's see what happens when you have a losing team. That like hold your
That's the key.
horses. You know,
You see, once they get to that point where they start losing, you're gonna start seeing Scott fade.
then you'll see.
like Homer Simpson into the bush.
Yeah.
That's what he's gonna look like.
Remember how I said I enjoy, I'm not a Habs fan, but I'm a fan of the fans.
Mhm.
That's why, because rain or shine, good team, great team, shitty team,
They're great
Montreal
fans.
shows up
They're great
Always.
fans.
always, and that's
Just not
You
their
know?
flags. Just
yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
no.
it's not their flags.
The
Weird.
thing is that we can see it. Florida right now is having a little bit of difficulty with their fan base. We all saw what happened over the years in Arizona
Yep.
or Phoenix,
Yeah.
depending on how you want to call that team. You look at teams that have had success. Carolina Hurricanes, Columbus Blue Jackets. They've had success, but they've also had very dismal showings in subsequent years because they don't
True.
have that success anymore. Atlanta Thrashers gone. You know,
Ron,
there's-
I got a question for you. Would you, if Gary Bettman did not make it like try to at least make Arizona work, there's no Austin Matthews. Would you agree to that?
wow. You know what? That's not even a stretch.
mm,
Because that's Shane Doan was his favorite player, and he
Yeah.
was raised watching the Coyotes.
Yeah.
Fans or not, I mean, that's what gets me thinking. Like, imagine one of these teams in Miami. You know, some kid that never even thought about hockey gets attracted to it and becomes the next Sidney Crosby or something. I mean, that's
You
what,
look at John. You know what? You're not off base. When you look at the state of California, everybody has to thank Wayne Gretzky for falling in love with a model and Hollywood actress,
yeah.
because he moves to Los Angeles and
Yeah.
he brought hockey with him to California.
Now you got guys
And the-
from California, kids
and
from
the-
California.
And the Kings haven't been relevant since.
That's not true.
They won-
the cup
they won a
few
cup.
years
one,
ago.
Did they?
one Stanley Cup.
Couple
But you
years.
see, that's just it. I went on a 30-year hiatus when it came to hockey. So
Yeah, no, the interesting thing about the year that the Los Angeles Kings won the cup, they were like the Montreal Canadiens, the last team to make it in. They were the 8th seed. They were the 16th seeded team.
Yeah.
Jeff Carter
there's no home ice
Jonathan Quick.
advantage.
when
Jonathan
I
Quick was
moved
that year's Cherry Price.
when I moved to Arizona when I was 20, hockey wasn't even a subject in that state.
No.
Why would it be?
And that's when I lost touch with hockey. I was an avid hockey fan growing up. I mean, I had one time I had an injury to my leg and I had to go stay at the hospital. My parents brought my TV so I could watch the Maple Leafs and Flyers game that was going on that night, playoff game. I mean, I was big into hockey in those days.
What, Toronto, Philly? Like when they played in the playoffs in like early
Yeah, with
2000s?
Bobby Clark and Daryl.
Back then, never
Back
mind.
no,
Yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
dude when I was 20, that was 40 years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant just now. I was at that
No.
game and
Mm-mm.
when Jeremy Roenick scored that goal.
That's when Bernie Parent was in goal. Daryl Sittler, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Sittler would have been for the Leafs. Yeah.
Those are my hockey days. back in the 70s and 80s.
My hockey days spanned those and a few more years in between.
You know, I only picked up hockey again when I started doing the sports talk shows.
Because we all love hockey on this show.
Right now, and it's very clear when you come into town here, this is the proud home of Claude Giroux. Okay, just saying. I am in the hometown of Claude Giroux, so I'm excited.
You look excited, John.
I
You look
actually,
overwhelmed.
I bought a Tim Hortons coffee in the town where Tim Horton was born,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Cochrane, Ontario. Just saying. That's the power of Northern Ontario. It's not just rock and bush out here.
Yeah.
Is that where he's buried also?
What's that? Sorry.
Is that where he's buried also?
No, I don't know. I have no idea if he's buried out here. He'd probably be buried in Hamilton or something because that's where he kind of.
Okay.
He's probably buried in the ground.
Or in the ground somewhere. Yeah.
All right, fellas, that wraps up another week of the Sports Nerds. Ron, thank you again for showing up tonight. We appreciate it. I hope to
I
see
think we
you
got
again.
Ron for 2 more weeks, right?
Got Ron for 2 more weeks. What's that, John? We looking?
Oh, 8. See, I'm on still Newfoundland time. I'm like, you got another 15 minutes. You're actually 15 minutes over.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, 15 minutes over.
Yes.
I got to get used to this.
Yeah, that half-hour
literally
time
extra
change.
30
dude.
minutes, man.
That 30-minute time change.
Yeah, it's actually 8:45 on the East
Yes.
Coast right now. So
Yes. Well, I am on the East Coast. Thank you.
correct.
Hey, we can always count on Ron to take the show over.
It's okay.
Yes, that's all right. That's all right though.
But we got no
It's
problem
right.
with that.
It's Montreal, man, in the cup. Like
Right.
I'm so excited for Montreal. fans. It's so
It's
awesome.
an exciting time in hockey right now.
Good for them.
100%.
All right, guys. You have a great week. Ron, thanks again. We are the Sports Nerds, and we are out for another week. Elliot, hit the outro.
Safe travels, John.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, Nerds Nation. Another Sunday episode of the Sport Nerd Show.
This is John's favorite part of the show.
And we're actually still live to tell about it. And on behalf of our hosts, got the Sports Nerd Right, John, Bob, and Ken, the 3 other lovable members of the Ramp Pack, and yes, me, Big E. The entire pack would once again like to thank you all for participating with us in the best 90 minutes of sports smack talk on the web today. So until next Sunday night, dear nation, we want to leave you with a quick PSA. Please stay safe. Please practice social distancing. And for fuck's sake, please wear a fucking mask. You just got hit with a pack rant from the Rant Pack. And with that, fellas, we are out.
Does this count as a mask?
Sure.